Kairo and the Magical Stamps. Kairo loved writing letters. He had a wooden box. Inside were colorful stamps. Some had flowers, some had birds, some had tiny castles. One day, Kairo found a new stamp. It looked different. It had shiny edges. It had glowing stars. He had never seen it before. He smiled. "I'll use this one," he said. He picked a nice letter. It was for his neighbor, Mrs. Dale. He wrote kindly. He thanked her for the cookies she gave him last week. He folded the letter. He placed the shiny stamp on it. Then he dropped it in the mailbox. The next day, he waited. He waited again the day after. No reply. Kairo saw Mrs. Dale by the gate. "Did you get my letter?" he asked. She smiled and shook her head. No letter came. Kairo felt puzzled. He always mailed letters. They always arrived. Why not this one? That night, he went to bed. He looked at the moon. He wondered about the letter. Then a soft sound, like paper flying. He sat up. The window was open. A swirl of gold sparkles filled the room, and there, floating in the air, was the same letter. Kairo blinked. He picked it up. It was not wet, not torn. Just the same letter, with the same glowing stamp. He held it close. The sparkles danced around him. He felt a tiny tug in his heart. "This stamp," he whispered, "is not an ordinary stamp." Kairo wanted to try again. He took out a small piece of paper. He wrote with his blue pen. It said, "If you find this, say hello." He smiled. Then he picked up the shiny stamp, the one with the glowing stars. He gently placed it on the note. Kairo walked to the mailbox. He opened it. He put the letter inside, then he closed the lid. He waited all day. No one came. No one replied. That night, he stayed awake. The clock ticked slowly. It was very quiet. At midnight, whoosh! A soft wind blew through the room. Kairo sat up in bed. The letter floated in again. Gold sparkles danced around it. But this time, something was different. There was writing on it. New writing. Not Kairo's. A reply. It said, "Hello, Kairo. Your stamp has magic. Try sending it to the sky." Kairo blinked. He read it again and again. "Magic?" he whispered. He held the letter close. It felt warm. His eyes grew wide. "Magic stamp," he said softly. He looked out the window. The moon was bright. The stars twinkled. "Send it to the sky?" he asked. He wasn't sure how, but something inside him felt ready. Kairo smiled. He knew this was just the beginning. Kairo sat at his desk. He looked at the glowing stamp. It sparkled gently. He picked up his favorite blue pen. Then he took a clean sheet of paper. He thought for a moment. What should he write? He wanted to say something kind, something special, so he wrote, "To anyone up high, do you see the stars like I do?" He read it twice. It felt right. Kairo picked up the shiny stamp. He pressed it on the letter. It stuck perfectly. He stood near the window. The night sky was clear. So many stars. The moon smiled down at him. He held the letter in both hands. "Okay," he whispered. "Let's see if this works." Then something amazing happened. The letter began to glow. The stamp shimmered brighter. Slowly, gently, the letter rose. It floated above his hands. It lifted higher, past the window, past the roof, past the tall trees. Kairo watched, eyes wide. The letter went higher and higher until it disappeared. He stood there for a long time. He felt happy and curious. Would anyone answer? The next night, Kairo stayed awake. He sat by the window. He watched the stars. Then a soft glow appeared outside. Something floated down, right into his room. It was a letter. It glowed like his. Kairo grabbed it. His hand shook a little. He opened the note. It said, "Yes, and we see you too. Write again." Kairo gasped. Someone answered. Someone out there, someone up high, was reading his letters. He smiled the biggest smile. He wasn't alone. He had pen pals. Pen pals in the stars! Kairo danced around the room. He held the letter to his heart. He couldn't wait to write again. Kairo woke up early. He ran to his desk. He grabbed his pen. He wrote a new letter. He drew a happy face. He wrote, "Hello, I hope you're smiling." He picked a magical stamp. He pressed it on the letter. The letter floated and flew up. That night, a new letter came back. It said, "We smiled. Thank you, Kairo." The next day, Kairo wrote again. This time, he asked, "What do stars eat?" He added a drawing of a star with a spoon. He laughed. He used the magical stamp. The letter flew into the sky. That night, the reply came, "We eat light and dreams." Kairo clapped his hands. He felt warm inside. Each day he wrote more. He asked questions. He told little stories. He sent poems. He drew funny pictures. The stars always answered. Every night, a glowing letter arrived. Kairo felt proud. He felt seen. He felt loved. One night, something different happened. Kairo finished a sweet letter. He wrote, "Thank you for writing to me. I feel happy inside." He used a magical stamp. But before the letter flew away, the stamp glowed brighter than ever. Kairo blinked. The stamp was shaking. It floated up from the letter. Then it spoke. A soft, warm voice said, "You are spreading kindness, Kairo. Few people write from the heart." Kairo gasped. The stamp sparkled. It spun around in the air. Then it danced in Kairo's hand. It grew brighter and brighter until poof! It turned into a tiny star. The little star floated above Kairo's desk. It stayed there, glowing gently. Kairo smiled. He whispered, "Thank you," and the star twinkled back. Kairo looked at the glowing stamp in his hand. It was small, it was bright, and it used to be just a stamp. Now, it was a tiny star, and it had spoken to him. It had said something kind, something warm. "You are spreading kindness, Kairo. Few people write from the heart." Those words stayed in his heart. Kairo thought for a long time. He didn't want to keep the magic for himself. He wanted to share it, so he got to work. He took out his paper, he took out his pen, he opened his box of stamps. Some of them now sparkled just like the magical one. He started writing new letters, short ones, simple ones. One said, "Hello, you are not alone." Another said, "Someone out there cares about you." He drew stars. He drew hearts. He added a sparkling stamp to each one. Then Kairo went out. He walked down the street. He dropped letters into mailboxes. Not just one, not just two, but many. Some letters he left on porches. Some he tucked into books at the library. Some he gave to people sitting alone in the park. He didn't write his name. He didn't want to reply. He just wanted someone to smile. And people did smile. Old people, young people. Even the grumpy mailman smiled when he found a letter with a glowing stamp. One girl found a note in her lunchbox. It said, "You are like sunshine. Keep shining." She smiled all day. One boy found a letter in his backpack. It said, "Even the quiet stars shine the brightest." He held it close and looked up at the sky. Some people didn't say anything. Some never replied. But Kairo didn't mind. He knew not all letters get answers, and that was okay, because sometimes the letter was the answer. The note was enough. The feeling it gave warm and kind was the magic. At night, Kairo still wrote letters to the sky. He still used his special glowing stamp. The stars still wrote back, but now he wrote more to the people around him too. To neighbors, to strangers, to anyone who needed a little light. He became known as the boy with the star letters. No one knew how the stamps sparkled. No one asked how the letters floated. They just knew something good was happening. One day, Kairo saw a little boy at the park. The boy looked sad. He sat alone, kicking a small rock. Kairo walked over quietly. He slipped a letter beside the boy. The boy opened it. It said, "Dear friend, someone out there sees you." The boy looked up. He didn't say anything, but he smiled. That was enough. Another day, an old woman found a letter in her grocery basket. It said, "Thank you for being here." She wiped her eyes and held the letter to her chest. One evening, Kairo sat by his window. He looked at the stars. He held a blank letter. He thought about what to write next. Then he smiled and wrote, "Kindness doesn't need a reason." He added a glowing stamp and held it up. It floated into the sky. Kairo knew the stars would see it, and maybe someone else would feel its warmth. Every day he gave out more letters. He gave them to kids at school. He gave them to shopkeepers. He even mailed one to the post office. He was not waiting for replies. He was giving pieces of kindness one letter at a time. Some people started writing letters too. They didn't have glowing stamps, but their words were kind. And that was what mattered most. Kairo saw people smiling more, waving more, saying hello. His town felt brighter. And even when no one saw him, even when he didn't hear back, Kairo knew something important. His letters still reached hearts, just like the stars did. Because magic doesn't always come with big bangs or loud noise. Sometimes it comes with paper and pen, with a soft stamp, with quiet kindness. And a boy who believed it mattered. One morning, Kairo woke up and saw something on his pillow. It was a letter, but this one was different. There was no stamp on it, no name on the front, no sound, just quiet. He opened the letter slowly. Inside, it said, "Thank you, Kairo. Because of you, the world feels a little brighter." Kairo held the letter close. He didn't know who sent it, but he could feel the words in his heart. He walked to the window. The sun was not up yet. The sky was still dark, but something sparkled. The stars were out, tiny, soft, glowing lights. And right in the middle of them was a star that looked like a stamp. It shined brighter than the rest. It twinkled, just for him. Kairo smiled. The glowing stamp had found its way home. He sat by his small desk. He picked up his pen, he took a piece of paper, and he began to write again. Not to someone he knew, not to a name, just to the world. "Dear someone," he wrote, "you matter. Even if no one says it, you do." He drew a heart. He signed it, "Your friend, Kairo." He placed it in an envelope. He looked at the glowing stamp on the desk. It was small now, but still warm, still ready to fly. He placed it on the letter. He walked outside. The mailbox waited. He gently placed the letter inside. Then he whispered, "Go find someone who needs this." And the mailbox glowed. The letter rose into the air. It flew higher and higher and higher until it disappeared into the stars. Kairo smiled again. He knew he'd keep writing, even if no one wrote back, because kindness doesn't stop. Like stars in the sky, letters can shine, words can glow, and even small things can light up the world. Small acts like letters and kind words can bring light to someone's day. You never know how far your kindness will go. Follow for more magical stories that start small, but grow big in the heart. Subscribe for more. Subscribe for stories where everyday kids do something quietly magical.